impressive to watch.
And it was one of those situations where there was such an embarrassment of riches in terms of picks. I think Vici thought they had won the draft just because they took both Lee Sin and Jarvan. They were saying, all right, there's none of those really strong early junglers out there. Pick that Rengar and be a bit more defensive in the early game. No. Dandy responded to that gambit with the Nunu, played it to a T. They did the vision denial right there. And this time King are going to have to refocus on their strategic play, refocus on that early game if they want to get any points in this series.
All right, so Champion Lex is well and truly underway. Vici, on the red side here. They're up again. King have swapped to the blue side now. They'll be on the left here. Kassadin, Rumble, and Xerath, the first 3 bands there for King, and Rek'Sai, Azir, with 1 more to come for Vici.
And Azir and Kassadin were those 2 champions we expected to be highly contested. They've been permabanned this series. Makes a lot of sense given the strength of those champions. The last ban here will be very interesting. The Rumble ban adaptation from King makes a lot of sense given just how crazy Carrie's Rumble was in the top lane right there. The last ban is the Rengar, so they're going to ban it away here. Different flavor of pick and ban coming out here.
Yeah, we do expect some junglers to get banned, and MLXG is definitely a Rengar player. I think his first game I ever saw him play in this season of the LPL was a Rengar game, so feels comfortable there, but that's a very targeted ban there for Vici. They might have another plan for the jungle, although Lee Sin and Jarvan are still up here, especially if King were to go for a different first pick that's not a jungler.
Well, there's a lot of adaptations here. Rengar and Xerath and Rumble from the previous game obviously were really powerful picks there. The Lissandra pick first here. I hope they're going to leave that flex pick available towards the end of their draft rather than really lock in those solo lanes. No, it's going to be the Jarvan.
Yeah, another strong flex pick as well, though. Flex pick as well, sorry, though, for King. So they'll take that up, and looks like Dandy might just run it back instantly. We didn't mention that, the little Yordle that could has come through as well. So lots of strong options here for Vici, and this is always the blue side draft, man. You got to be careful, because whenever they get the first pick, you always get 2 good picks if you've drafted right.
Lissandra, so many champions available here. Janna's still available, of course, for Vici right here. Really locking in the early Nunu will be a surprise to me. I'm not sure if MLXG is a big Nunu player or not. And there are other strong jungle options available. The Janna make a bit more sense.
Yeah, much more appropriate here. Vici do have 5 more seconds to decide if that's what they want to go for, so we'll have to see. But after the start they had in the last game, wouldn't be too surprised to see Mata running it back. He does go back to Janna, and Carrie's going to get
The power of Gnar has been on full display in the LPL so far here, and across the world, of course. The Narvan combo is denied, of course, because the first pick, Jarvan, came through from King. But Gnar is such a strong champion, and in Carrie's hands, after that amazing Rumble display right there, his tail's going to be up, and if those Gnar ultimates are on point, they can cause complete destruction.
Yeah, no. Already a different look for Vici. Don't have the big, massive AoE zone control. They could still get the Nunu, of course, if they wanted to, but they're going to have a much meatier frontliner here in Carrie's Gnar.
I kind of resent the fact that you don't consider Mega Gnar some space control, right? That's very hard to go through that champion. If he can control that rage bar very, very selectively, show up at a fight with full rage, that's an instant disengage. That's instantly running the hell out of there when he comes forward to you. So there's the implied space control rather than necessarily that massive layered AoE damage that is the equalizer.
Yeah, true, as King have picked up 2 more champions as well. Lee Sin and Corki, their next 2. So going to play, again, a very similar style. Looks like Sky might be back on the Jarvan as well.
It's interesting to see they go for that a second time. We haven't seen a lot of wins coming out of that solo Jarvan. It was only the one time when Snake and Flandre really used that to great display against a Sivir. It's one of those situations where Sivir wasn't a tank buster, so having a 300, 400 armor Jarvan, there wasn't much he could do in that situation here. I mean, Vasili's Tristana's available. It's going to be locked in.
Yeah, he's going to go for it. Lissandra gets through second round as well for Vici, so Lissandra, Tristana, 2 very strong picks for their team comp.
I mean, you look at this Vici gaming site here, it's basically A+ tier across the board in terms of picks in the meta right now. An embarrassment, which is if you just get that now Lissandra in first rotation, people have said, okay, that's a 1 draft. But to add up a really impressive bottom lane where both players are on their comfort champions, it's one of those things where you can pretty much say, all right, you guys, you pick whatever you want because we've got exactly what we were looking for.
And I like the cookie here for King as well. They might be playing a bit more aggressively in the bottom lane. We've talked about Tristana being kind of a weak laner. Tristana Janna especially is very weak. You're basically saying, we just want team fighting and late game. That's all we want here. King will go with Fizz there for Assassin, so going to play an Assassin this time, and Thresh there for Liam. That's a very important champion for their support as well.
And actually leaving jungler to last pick here. And the Nunu's being mulled over, but you're looking over on King's side. Fizz versus Lissandra is not the most fun lane matchup for Fizz, just because the moment they both hit 6th, Lissandra has an ability to just drop the aggro of that fish. can get away from that very easy. She can push in waves, and of course Fizz can't really push without very aggressively using his Playful Trickster, which opens himself up to engage from Hetong. It's not the best matchup, but it does make sense in the context of their team, just because they have so many pick options here between the Fizz Fish, the Jarvan Flag and Drag, the Death Sentence coming out from Thresh. King are looking to deny Vision and get picks right here against the pick masters in Vici. So they can pull this off again and get that 1-1, steal away a win from Vici right here. It'll be a massive confidence booster to them, and it will really put more questions on Vici's consistency over series. They've had excellent single games. They need to turn that into series wins.
Yeah, we'll have to see as well. The last pick was, of course, Dandy's Nunu. Did come back again for a second go, and just feels like a perfect Dandy champion. I mean, you do want maybe a bit more pressure, but as far as vision and utility for your team go, Nunu is just so good at that. And they have the Nunu Tristana this time.
And you look down their comp here, it's pretty much a Vasily-focused comp. It's pretty much a Tristana carry comp. And for a player like Vasily, who walked back into China with so many extra fans from his stint in NA right there, a lot of people thought, all right, he may have been a good AD carry in NA, but the talent pool for AD carries in China, it's crazy, especially when you add in the likes of Imp and Deft. Vasily's looked very good so far in the LPL. He's had some weak games, but in general, he's never been truly outclassed. And it shows his confidence of his team here to go for a very Tristana-focused protect comp. Because when that Blood Boil comes into a late-game Vasily, it's going to be some crazy damage.
Yeah, even the Nara as well, just really say, hey, we're going to give you a more reliable front line.
Absolutely. It's going to be a very strong front line. There's going to be some zone control. There's going to be pick potentials also coming from Hetong. But it's all going to be about the Tristana resets in the late game, and Mana doing his best to peel everyone off.
I'm curious to see if Vici have a similar approach as well to their game. They had, again, a lot of vision starvation. Dandy's Nunu will provide that as well, but we've got a lot to talk about here, a lot to think about as well.
There's a lot to talk about, and whether they can recreate that vision strangulation of the first game, King know what to expect this time. They're going to be on the ball.
Well, with that, let's get into it. We're into the game. And welcome back to the Rift, ladies and gentlemen. Vici versus King, Game 2. Vici currently up a game here on the red side of the Rift. King over on the left-hand side. They'll be looking to fight for their point here and make it 1-1. Both these teams would have loved the 3 points, but Vici are the only ones in this series that can collect them.
Absolutely. Vici are going to be playing with confidence. They're playing ahead right here, so a spot they've rarely found themselves so far in the LPL. And they're going to try and match their strategy of the last game. It's all going to be about vision control between Nunu and Janna here.
Yep, and we saw it last game. The combo was immense. We talk about Dandy and Mata being the utility duo and the Vision Kings, and they've got the two big champions to enable that again. We'll see how King going to adapt to. We expect him to be quite aggressive early on and have really strong and intelligent laning movements and phases, but didn't work out for them last game. How can they reset here and get things going just a little bit better this time?
One thing I'll point out is that Vici don't quite have the lane supremacy in terms of early pushing. They don't have that Sivir to auto-push the AD carry lane. They don't necessarily have him pushing lane matchup in the top lane here. So they're going to have to work harder to open up the map pressure for invading. Of course, invading and counter jungling is a team game. Vici set themselves up for that with their picks in the first game. That's not to put anything aside about their picks in the second. They have a lot of powerful picks right here, but it's only really in the mid lane where the Sandra will have an immense pushing advantage over Fizz that they can really open up vision for Dandy.
Yeah, Vasily already in the top lane. I think King might have spotted him. There is a ward that Vici looked to ping. But Vasily's going to walk up. He's going to look for the lane swap. Janna's already up there as well. Whoosh down the bottom lane. Successful swap early on for Vici.
Successful swap and a very passive start to the jungle. We see Lame here. He's trying to really harass around the blue buff, assuming that Smite's already been used. Danny did hold that later right here. So only it's going to be a bit of harassment, but they do have an excellent timer. They have an exact timer on the second Vici blue buff.
Yeah, so nice bit of pressure there from Lane, but Dandy, cool head, does not get that buff stolen from him. Had the one slip up for Vici in the last game, maybe being the Baron that got stolen away, but didn't trouble them too much. Here's Assassin in the mid lane. We'll get poked a little bit here by Lissandra, and this can get a little bit awkward in the early levels for poor Fizz.
Yeah, and Dandy was very lucky that it was a situation where they were 10k gold ahead, and that one Smite fail didn't decide the game from there. He has to be on board with that. And look, he has the history to back it up. We can write away one as a mulligan, but not that same sort of opportunity in the second game.
No, Hetong really bullying Assassin now as well. Doesn't have a CS lead yet, but has just been chucking Qs into the minion wave. And Paul Melee Fizz is going to eat them most of the time. Dandy and Carry going to continue their double jungle exploits though. And it will pick up level 2 there for Dandy, plus the double buffs as well.
Actually, it is interesting to see a second a mana potion being picked up by Assassin here. You'd expect very heavy health regen just because Fizz is going to, at minimum, hit auto attacks, probably going to also receive Qs in his face also here. So he's going to need a lot of regen. I guess the theory there is he's going to need to do a bit of AoE wave clearing. And, of course, the flat mana cost of that Playful Trickster is very high at early levels.
Yeah, and a pretty big discrepancy with early choices here as well. King actually going in onto carry potentially. That's a lot of damage done by the Qs there. Lee Sin tags him, but it looks like everyone else is here. Oh my goodness, 4-man dive now going to come through here. Carry could be in trouble. Mata also as well. That's a good flash out for Carry. Johnny gets out as well. Laying with the flay. Might quite make it, but Sky is very low after tanking those turrets, and that'll be a reset now for Vici.
The flash from Carry there was very on point. In fact, both flashes used between Carry and Mata right there, but they do survive. We haven't seen actually many successful turret dives surviving just because people have been falling under those objectives. They tried the 4-man gank. We saw Snake do it so wonderfully in the earlier series this week against OMG, but Vici lived to fight another day.
Yeah, and I like the swap up here for King getting a bit more aggressive, but there's a polarizing effect happening in these two lanes here, top and bottom. Vasily has hard froze this lane here, and King, of course, just wanted to break that and went for a 4-man dive.
Absolutely, and we've seen a lot of these situations where AD carries have been left alone to 1v1 farm or even farm in a complete open lane here. We're going to see an over-leveled Vasily right here. He'll definitely have the levels to kind of make up for his natural mid-game power trough right here, so maybe his abilities will be doing slightly more damage, but the free farm is certainly happening. And whenever a Tristana is matching farm with a Corki, it does mean that that mid-game power spike for Corki, that mid-game situation where Corki's just a more powerful champion than Tristana, gets ever so shorter.
Yeah, MLXG, sorry, we'll wander into the bottom lane now. Gonna maybe look to sneak into this brush and go again for a potential dive or just a kill. King are committing quite aggressively early on here, especially down towards the bottom half of the map, and I think that's maybe the right choice. They need to mix it up and get aggressive, and they're going to try and do so now.
Yeah, they're just trying something different from the previous game. We saw that the identity from the early minutes of this game has been completely different right here. Although they're 500 gold behind already because of that early CS going down to Tristana right here. They're going for this aggression.
Carry actually bounced in there and got flayed back by Liam. That's a good hook they're landing as well. And first blood will go to Corki.
We're reminded why we saw the Thresh ban coming out in game right there. In game 1 right there. Wonderful little death sentence coming on to Carry. He was getting overly aggressive for no reason whatsoever, really. And he pays the price.
Does indeed, as Assassin will, I think, spot Dandy moving into the blue side of the jungle. Sky has already begun to rotate down as well. Dandy is pretty aggressively counter-jungling this Wolf. Assassin, they're going to get juked around the wrong way. Skylar will find him. Jarvan going to slow him down with a golden egg as Dandy will throw a snowball to slow him as well. But a good knock up there is going to keep going. Dandy will run away with the blood ball ticking away. Does pop it back in. He'll be fine. There's no one else there to try and take him out.
And Dandy's fortunate that, of course, Assassin doesn't have the blue buff. He's still only level 4, just pinged 5. Doesn't have the mobility to close the distance and kill that invading Nunu there. The Yeti lives. The Sky's still going.
He really wants this kill, apparently. There's 2 more members of King rotating up as well, so committing to the aggression in the early sides of the map here. I do like the swap up from King, but Vasily has just gotten so much space here in the top lane. If there is one carry that you love to swap into a 1v0 or 1v1, it's absolutely Tristana.
There's always 2 flavors to these lanes up. Sometimes we see the Corki or the Sivir being moved into the 1v1 or 1v0 lane, as it's been a few times right there. And that's usually due to the fact that you want to really open up a chance for him to reach that level 6, to scale with levels. But with Tristana, it's levels and items. But Vasily's in trouble.
Yeah, he is indeed going to get 3-man ganked. A great play there from Lamb as well. The hook does go wide. Vasily with a good buster shot, but it's not enough to keep him alive, and Sky picks up that kill.
It was a nice adaptation there from Vasily. He thought he could get the counter kill right there. So many levels disadvantage coming out for the Thresh right there. He ate 1 turret shot, but importantly not the second. And he doesn't get the counter kill.
Yeah, Assassin now level 6 along with her tongue in this mid lane. Fizz is about 10 CS behind here. So having a reasonable time, but not maybe the most fun here. Dandy now level 5 will walk in towards his blue earth, respawning just on time, and Dandy, ever the generous jungler, will donate it over to Lissandra.
10 to 20 CS is probably the par for this mid lane right here. Of course, Fizz won't have quite the same kill pressure, so for an Assassin to remain relevant in the late game, he's going to have to really get some side lane pushes going, maybe have someone relieve some pressure and farm out this mid lane for him. I expect that we're going to see the Fizz split push coming out later in the game. Hatong should be able to match it.
Yep, Assassin, they're going to Urchin strike back as well. Just trying to get the blue buff, as you mentioned there. So walk over there to MLXG and pick that up for himself, which will make things a little bit easier here for the Fish in the mid lane. But again, not too bad looking down as well. Bottom lane looking decent now for Whoosh. Is actually Vasily and Mata have swapped back into a 2v2. Wish is about 10 CS ahead. Land looking for a hook. Does not land that one, but the pressure's on now. This is the start that King needed.
With the early BF sword here, Vasili's able to actually push out these waves with explosive shot just because he needs less auto attacks and able to kill the first creep here. So now that he's actually able to trim the wave very appropriately, this Tristana, happy to return to that 2v2 situation, happy to get a bit more dragon control back for Vici Gaming.
Yeah, and all that free farm that Vasili got in the first 5-6 minutes really helped him here with the early BF. So Vici playing again very well strategically early on, and that is what we kind of credited King for. So it's interesting to see Vici kind of really play them both in this game and the start of this and the last one.
Absolutely. I mean, for Vici, it was one of those situations where they imported the Vision Kings, so we had a fairly good idea that they'd be all about getting that early vision. We just weren't sure if they could translate it into game wins or necessarily use that ward advantage to really push over and win games. And that's kind of the issue, is that if you suddenly have an extra, 5-6 wards, extra vision of camps, you don't immediately know what to do with that extra information. That's maybe the communication issues coming out between the Chinese and Korean members right there. As they play together at the top level, you have to think they're going to start to get more and more on point. And it's been on display in this series so far.
Yeah, I mean, the early weeks for Vici did not look this coordinated, but the last game especially has looked a lot stronger for them. Fake Dragon was considered as well by Vici, but they'll back off there. Don't want to quite go for that one yet. Assassin continuing to get harassed here by Lissandra. Actually falling a little further behind now in CS, closer to 15 now.
We actually see the aggressive start coming out from Sky. Oh, down the bottom lane, a lot of damage trade coming out.
Yeah, had issues there, and looks like poor Lamb did go down. Vasili going to jump back in there, looking for it again, but doesn't go in. But there is a kill there for Vici. They'll take it in the bottom lane.
Absolutely, they pick up that first kill right there. I could see the harassment coming there, the flashing health bars. A nice kill coming through for Tristana. So he's getting strong. Yeah,
and surprising as well with Corki having an early sheen here. That did happen, but that's a big win for Vici. Any bonuses for Tristana that you can get are worth so much more in a late game carry lane.
And look, it validates the lane swap there. It's been a very successful swap for Vici right here. And again, they're outplaying in the early game a team that was known for that strength. So that's a big win for Vici Gaming.
Yeah, Assassin going to walk back now as well. He'll put some wards down near Dragon, but now waddle his way back towards the mid lane here. Going to collect some more CS as well. Looks like the first Dragon's getting looked at pretty intently by both of these teams. No surprise that we're going to see maybe the first Dragon attempted around that 10-minute mark here. Sky out onto carry as well, just kind of trading back and forth. Jarvan in this lane against Nah hasn't had nearly the horrible time that he had against the Rumble.
He's gone for that very aggressive item build there, and I do like that just because he's looking to try and really contest fights when Nah is in mini-Nah form. When those extra stats fall off there, the Tiamat and the EQ engages will actually do very respectable trade damage. And if he just goes for a tanky build, he's basically going to be eating auto attacks the whole laning phase and then teleporting in at low health. So I do like that adaptation.
Yeah, going aggressive. Assassin's here as well. Carry going to bounce around, but Assassin going to go straight in. Doesn't even need the fish. Just takes him out under the turret.
And that's why we're going to see some of those fizz changes. So much burst damage coming out even without hitting the fish right there for Assassin. It's a very nice rotation coming through. They'll pick up the kill. And King, look, they're picking up some kills, but the map vision is definitely where they're falling behind.
Yeah, it is indeed. And that's honestly Vici's strength, so not too surprising. But King, if they want to keep up with Vici in this series, going to have to get those wards a little bit more and get their ward clearing on point as well. But Vici going to wander in for the first Dragon of this game now. And it seems like King are not really around to contest.
Yeah, there's no real wards around to really give them advancement. They have some idea that's going down.
Book did land in. Dandy will just turn around and smite it, though. MLXG was looking for a steal again, but we're going to watch Sky. Oh, this is such a great kill.
It is a really nice kill right here. So the EQ comes in, knocks up Nah right here, but Assassin's on the roam right. There's so much burst damage coming down from this lane Jarvan. It's not the flavor of Jarvan we've seen so far. It has been the more tanky builds from the likes of Flandre. So it's nice that he picked up the kill right there. And we're back into lane, and these two guys just fighting it up in the top lane again.
Good bit of harass there for Sky, using the auto attack cancel plus the Tiamat to get the damage done. And mini-Nah will struggle a bit 1v1 if Jarvan's in melee range, so I like the aggression, as you mentioned there, from Sky. Back in the bottom lane, though, Whoosh is getting ahead on this Corki. About 20 CS up now on Vasilis Trist. That's not the worst deficit, but it can't get much worse than that.
And what we have to discuss, though, is although this Tiamat does help him in a sheer 1v1 laning situation, it means that in a team fight, he's only really relevant for his CC and burst, then he'll fall down.
Great hook, though. Vasili actually going to go aggressive. Sky in the top lane, though, going to get jumped on there. Lissandra with a great roam now down the bottom. Mata jumping forward there, moves lane back in. The Lantern actually moving in as well. The Exhaustos comes down instead, and maybe Wish didn't want to click on that. Vasili gets double flating with Mata. That's one kill. Can Lamb get the second there as well? He's actually going to turn around, try and fight this Trist. They both get away. 1-for-1 explosions. So Lee Sin actually down in Lamb, trying to bait him in, and that's beautifully played. Lee Sin, good Q to a minion, does get the kill with Smite. What a play there from King.
Absolute power play coming out out from King there. You saw the very aggressive rocket jump coming out from Vasily right there. He was actually super fortunate that Mata managed to take turret aggro, otherwise they would have both fallen with no kills whatsoever. So they'll take a 1-for-2 trade just because of the bit of a brain explosion going in so aggressively from Vasily.
Dandy going to steal away the blue buff. Vici really owning the top side of the map after the roam there from Lissandra. And that will go over to Ertong. He'll accept a very generous donation there from King. As he and Dandy will steal it away. Carry now almost Mega now form. Sky going to fight him up, but a 3-man dive's coming in. No ult for Lissandra, but Sky, got nowhere really to run. Cataclysm's on top. Glacial Patch out there for Lissandra, and that's a beautiful dive. Goodbye, Sky.
Yeah, the map rotations are going in the advantage of both teams right here. One team gets a nice kill on the top. It's answered by the double kill on the bottom. This last rotation on the top really starts to put it in Vici's favor, though.
Yeah, Vici looking good. Don't quite push down the top tower yet. Whoosh down the bottom. In the meanwhile, it's picked up a Trinity Force already. So the next Dragon fight, Corki is going to be very, very strong.
Yeah, the power spike is definitely on. We actually do see a comfortable 20 CS advantage for Whoosh in here as well. Once those Sorcerer boots are completed, I'd expect to see them try to capitalize on their turret lead they have already. Stick Whoosh in the middle lane and really try to siege down this first turret.
We'll have to see Vasily actually joining in the mid lane turret now. It's at about a quarter health there. Maybe looking to take it down. Whoosh has to be careful. Let's get aggressed on there. Mata with the shields as well. Plus a couple rapid fire levels from Vasily. Going to make it a pretty clean mid lane turret. And again, Vici get that turret decisively and early.
You see the amount of burst damage Vasily has to eat there just to get that structure down, even with a member by his side right here. The mid-game is on.
Oh, Fitch actually lands on the Dandy. Assassin going to go in for the Nunu. Dandy looking for a flash. Does find over the wall. Layup almost finds the hook. Just a little more distance required. But Sky now porting back down in as well. Going to look to force around the Dragon Pit. No more kills forthcoming. No, MLXG going to find himself on top of a pink ward.
That is a teleport wasted completely from Sky right here. No objective to compete for apart from the blue buff right here. Now he's going to push in very aggressively to the top. It should be a turret here. Yep, it falls down here for Vici Gaming.
This guy going to look into, throws a pink ward into the blue bush there. And Lissandra going to come forward. Has to be careful. Good play from lane, but the ult is up for Lissandra. Not used yet, though. Want to save for a priority. Carry actually down here as well. MLXG gets not into the wall there by Carry. And now Vasily going to dive in on top, but he gets eaten alive by all the damage. Assassin gets that next kill. Dandy going through, but Assassin little low goes down to the double for Lissandra. Now Sky getting chased out now as well. Glacial Path moving in. They're going to lock him down with the W there as well, but the damage coming back. Whoosh now with a kill on Lissandra. There's another actually for the double. Now Carry could be in trouble. That's 3 for 3 so far. Now Nah going to hop out. Q's will miss there. Oh, the skill shots fire a little wide, but Carry getting low. Whoosh, can he chase in? And MLXG wants it so bad. The Phosphorus Bomb does not land, and they will not chase the dive. No, they take it instead, and Lee Sin going to ride it in, but they donate it to the Corki.
And the Whoosh just survives there as well. And that was once again a case of Vasily not respecting Whooshin's damage. He got instantly burst when he rocket jumped in aggressively for the second time so far this game. But I actually thought it was all going to go pear-shaped there just because Sky was taking so much damage with this very DPS-focused build. But Whooshin in the back, he had mana, he had health, he was free hitting, and a mid-game Corki free hitting is a wonderful thing to watch.
Yeah, watch that Trinity Force. Whoosh just exploded in terms of damage, has 2,000 gold to go back and spend at the shop as well, so he is looking massive so far. 1,500 gold up on Vasily as well. If there's someone that can push King for an aggressive mid-game and take the win here, it is this Corki.
And it's a very aggressive item choice right here. It looks like it's going to be the Bloodthirster second, but crucially going to skip the Sorcerer's Shoes, realizing that, all right, I'm doing enough damage here right now with my auto attacks. I don't need to focus on amplifying my spells. I might even leave the option later game to go into maybe even just the Berserker's Greaves right there. But a massive amount of power being bought with that 2,000 gold.
Yeah, MLXG down the bottom, clears out the waves with Tempest. Mata knocks him up there. Actually, be careful, Vasily coming in, but now Whoosh is back down towards the bottom. And Vici's bottom lane already knows they don't really want to contend with this. Actually, Hatong is down here as well, so he can into the brush. But I think King have knowledge of this. They're not going to back into the brush.
And a little thing I didn't actually consider, that flat AD, of course, does scale with the Phosphorus Bomb now. And you look down this Vici Gaming lineup, very limited wave clear. Whenever you pick up, look down the King lineup here. You notice very limited wave clear. Whenever you pick up Fizz in the mid lane, although you have Initiation, although you have Assassination, you don't have the ability to clear waves. So having just that extra flat damage on that Phosphorus Bomb, it might really relieve some pressure in the mid game.
Yeah, we'll see, but Dragon's back up again here. The first one did go to Vici. MLXG going to clear out red buff, maybe donate it over to Whoosh, but King have to do something at this Dragon. It seems like Vici going to continue to get vision around, got good pink wards around the back there. Oh no, looks like King's actually going to defend the area around the Dragon Pit, so we might have a brawl here. Scuttlecrab, oh no, he's getting eaten, does go down there to Vasily.
Yeah, they've managed to get a bit of vision strangulation out right here, but I don't think this is going to be an objective they're going to let go just because they know how strong their Corki is right now.
Got to be so careful, and Vici might not even want to fight them here. Lissandra can get a good initiation and get on top of the Corki. That could be it, but Assassin's powered up now, so he's got a Lich Bane very early on this Fizz, and we saw how much work he did in the last team fight.
Absolutely, but he needs to be careful. He doesn't have the zone, he doesn't have the ability to go into stasis right here, doesn't have the cooldown reduction flavor of Fizz that we've actually seen coming out from the likes of Cool. So, of course, that Playful Trick is going to be on quite a long cooldown. If he goes in aggressively here, it's probably going to be a one-for-one trade, so he really wants to take out a priority target.
King got a quick turret, actually, so that's good for them, but they need to try and find a way in here. Lee Sin going to go for another steal, does get it for the first time, gets locked out by Lissandra and taken out, though, but carrying the back a big three-man Nara ultimate. Assassin now gets exhausted and can't do anything, and Whoosh wants to kill someone so bad, but Mata has knocked him up now as well. He's split from his team. Hatong off to the side, might actually go down. The Foster's ball almost enough as the missile goes a little wide, but a 3-0 wide there for Vici, still withstanding. That was a great fight.
The front line was exploded there for King. Whoosh tried to clean up at the end, but he realized, oh crap, I don't have anyone with any health in front of me whatsoever. His Valkyrie was actually very short range Valkyrie, was interrupted by Marta right there. He falls as well. The trade, it was looking good when they picked up the first objective, but we'll see the replay right here. The MXG steal away was massive right there, but you look at the target selection coming out from Vici right here. They instantly explode Assassin down. Carry lives after all of that. Able to fight as 5 right here. Very significant right here. Tong actually able to CC, and the reinitiate, they just chase him down. And Wushin falls.
Yeah, nowhere to go there. And Assassin actually dived onto Hatong there, not Vasily. So looked to try and get that AP carry zoned out. But Lissandra had already used the ultimate. It was good to go. And a clutch exhaust from Mata making that a lot easier as well. So King looking a little behind. Now gold lead not massive. Only 1,000 gold up for Vici. A dragon apiece is nice as well. The turret's pretty even as well at 2 to 3. For King versus Vici, but King have to feel like they need to pressure a little bit more with this team comp.
And King have to be careful on what they choose in terms of the objectives they're trying to push in the mid-game here. When you have a Fizz who rushes Lich Bane, you shouldn't be looking to team fight just because that's an assassination build, a split-pushing build, but not a team-fighting build. So whoever chooses to go in first here, whether it's the Fizz, whether it's the Lee Sin, even the Jarvan is very squishy and no health items picked up on any of the 3 of them. So they're very squishy and they can get instantly burst down with smart target selection from Vici. Carry a bit worried in the top lane.
He's very worried.
He saw a hook come out, but he'll saunter away.
Just dodged it here. LXG will queue him for a bit of vision, but King looking just like they want to take the outer turret here and complete that little circle. Hatong Dandy immediately pushing down the mid now as well. Whoosh is running defense, though, in towards that side of the map. Vasily down the bottom getting free from. That's probably the most beneficial thing of all. Top tower does fall down, but Vasily starting to get going now. Infinity Edge done plus the Zeal as well. Oh my god, Whoosh in the mid. Getting dove in there by Hatong. Lantern out there from Lamb. Cannot save him. Sky actually down here as well. Dandy forced to flash out from under the flag and drag combo, and Carry getting to looking to get some harass in there as well. Dives back in there with a bounce. Wants to go in, doesn't have quite enough range. Mata with a great ulti though. Gonna reset that fight, and Carry is just chasing out Whoosh and mini now bomb. Transforms into Mega now. Gets the kill. Lamb's gonna find him. Knocks him into the wall, but now MLXG's here with Sky. They should be able to chase him down, but that's a worthy trade there for Vici.
Yeah, Carry was able to assassinate this now. It looks like they're almost going to leave it behind. No, they really want to give this kill to Assassin. They don't have that option, unfortunately. He does fall down right there. It's a 2-for-1 trade. Vici very, very aggressive right there, but successful in assassinating that Corki.
Yeah, and a bit of a deep dive there for Vici. May have lost one more member than they would have liked. Mata actually went down as well. Vasily, though, cleaning out minions in the top lane. I'm not too sure why Vici pulled the trigger there. Not the same controlled style we saw in the last game, but they're still buying enough time for this Tristana, and that's what's important.
Yeah, I feel like some of the communication issues between their members are starting to slip out in this game. Not anything decisive like that. They're still very much in this game, but just an over-aggressive turret dive coming out right there.
Lame going to back off there, spend his money. Assassin actually got a needlessly large rod added into his inventory, so it looks like Lich Bane Zonya's going to be his particular build. Very strong there, as you can see. He's done quite well on this Fizz so far. If you can find a few more picks, King will look a lot better towards the later mid-game team fights here. Just looking through as well. Corki done the Zork Shoes actually. Looking for Infinity Edge actually is his next item.
Yeah, it's going to be a massive amount of burst damage if we do see a crit with that Sheen Proc coming out from that Trinity Force. It's going to have a lot of burst damage, and maybe that's going to be an attempt to try and take down Carry at the start of a fight. He knows that he's going to have no way of getting through and doing damage to the backline, because of course Corki's all about those AoE abilities, it's going to be Gnar eating those rockets, eating those phosphorus bombs in the front line, and he needs to DPS down that Gnar before he can move on to more priority targets in the back.
It does help with a pick, though, if King get it, and that is a lot of what their comp is about. And one of the things here, apart from maybe the early stages in a map movement, is that we haven't really had King group up, get a pick, and then take an objective.
I mean, it's just so hard to get a pick against a team that really is up there in the upper echelon in the world in terms of warding. You look at this map right here, despite how close the game is, so many red wards on the map. The pink wards are down also from Vici. They have so much defensive warding right here. It's just very hard to cancel out the vision and get those picks when there's just so many extra wards on the map than you might expect.
Maybe crucially, though, Vici's ward line looking much more defensive than it was last game, so it's not been the same game here for Vici, despite stellar ward coverage still. Dragon up in a minute 10 as well. This next fight's going to tell us a lot, and King still must feel like they have an edge.
I mean, defensive warding is not necessarily a negative playstyle choice from Vici here, just because they have Tristana. They're happy to opt into the late game. When you have Tristana, Janna, you're able to get through lane, you get to the late game, you've got so much disengage, so much damage. I mean, it's one of those situations where they realize that one of their win conditions here, Vici, is to pull it late. So if they lose the minimum, if this pick comp never gets a pick, it doesn't really matter how many AP items Fizz has in the late game. It's so hard for him to get onto a priority target. So pulling out this game is Vici's preference, and they're at least setting themselves up to do that.
Yeah, defensive warding certainly not a bad thing. Just a stark contrast from game one. So a bit more competitive here. King looking good again, trying to find their window in and really get the mid game going. Corki actually goes for a last whisper that'll have for this next dragon fight.
Well, again, if the flavor is getting through this Gnar, it might be a relevant choice. Usually I question the last whisper rush just because Corki has so much armor penetration anyway. But given the amount of stats Mega Gnar gets, it does make some semblance of sense right here to try and blow through that Randuin's Omen Gnar and then just move on the damage to other priority targets.
King are on top of the dragon to kick it off, though. Carry does have his port there in the top lane. But King going to start this dragon. It'll dive very quickly to the damage here, especially with Corki moving in. Sky's actually already moving through. Marta looked for a tornado, didn't find it, and King going to get the dragon basically for free.
And Carry only now getting enough rage from Mega Gnar, so probably it wasn't the right time to contest right there. He's getting a lot of damage onto this inner turret. Probably not going to be able to take it out. Going to be about half health as he runs away from the lane right there. Look, if you're not in a position to contest an objective, don't run in and die and then give them the objective anyway. Probably a smart move there from Vici.
Yeah, and again, Vici putting a lot of eggs in Vasili's basket. This Trist is powering up as 2 items done there with the static shift plus the IE, but we talk about Trist and hypercarries. We need to get to that 3-item threshold. That's really your jumping off platform.
And it's worth knowing that Danny's actually gone for a more selfish Nunu skill build right here. He has 5 points in the snowball, so of course he does have that attack speed slow and movement speed slow, but he is actually maxing the consume second, so it's only 1 point in the Blood Bowl just now. I don't know if that'll change. Maybe it'll just be 3 points into a Blood Bowl second max. But they're definitely not doubling down on the Tristana hard carry just yet.
Yeah, and that was Dandy's skill build in the last game as well. Obviously a bit different with the Sivir and no real good Blood Bowl targets, but Dandy just committing. He wants to have full control with his skill build.
Absolutely. The items are coming, though. The pickaxe suggests the last whisper coming in next. When he starts shredding, it's kind of almost a contest of AD carries shredding through a frontliner. Whoever shreds through either Jarvan or Gnar respectively will probably access a teamfight win for their team.
I wonder how much damage Assassin can do as well, because Marta is so good at peeling off for Vasily, and that's really Assassin's only good target for this Fizz. So if Vasily stays safe, especially from the fish, things look a lot better. Oh, Dandy just dodging a bullet there with the Flay going wide. Sky will poke him down a little bit just to be annoying here, but for the most part, King just consolidating themselves in towards the center of the map, going to try and take out a few more objectives.
I mean, the disadvantage of not fitting a Morello Nomicon early into the build is that once you have 40% CDR, you can really engage on a very tanky target, use the fish on them quite freely, then stasis and have all your abilities up to still get to the back line. With less CDR right here, he really does need to hit that fish on a priority target, and you have to think is going to be either Dandy or Carry just trying to maneuver in front of that fish and stopping that from happening.
Yeah, some pretty big targets there. And Mata, who was probably building in towards the Mikhail's at some point, can even help there. Won't break the fish knockup part, but it will at least give an extra heal there. And Mata, we've shown, is very good, especially on Janna, at peeling for the hyper carries. Oh, Carry's actually found Sky here. Cataclysm does get used, but Carry gets away scot-free with the teleport.
He does teleport away, but look what they've done with this amount of aggression they've drawn to the top lane right here. They're trying to rush the Baron. It's very risky. Tristana won't be there for this fight, but the AoE magic trade is going to be crazy.
Yeah, Hatong flashes forward onto Woosh with the ulti. Woosh getting very, very low and does go down there to Hatong. Now the ulti getting channeled by Dandy. Sky in a whole host of trouble. Double now there coming out there for Carry. Fish goes on to Dandy, but Lissandra gets the double. Make it 3 kills total. There was Vasily picks up the next. There's the double for Trista. Full 5-man ace, and Vici going to get the Baron as well.
Very assertive move coming out from King, but it did not work whatsoever. There was a red ward down, and this overwatered map is paying dividends for Vici Gaming right there. Here, they will be the ones to pick up this Baron buff. And King, they went for something cute, they went for something smart, but it did not work out whatsoever.
Yeah, do not try and steal from the Prince of Thieves. Maybe the message from last game. MLXG did it last time, but Dandy really puts him in his place, and the rest of King can't feel too good about what just happened. That is a big loss in a game where they were honestly poised in a very strong spot.
And we saw the effect of a Baron buff when you're behind previously. We're going to see a replay right here. King, they're trying to DPS down, but that magic resist shred, you'll start to see the effect of this. We have so much magic damage coming out right here from Hatong. Instantly Wushin dies. And with the low health buzzer, the Gnar coming out is insane right here. They're, again, eating AoE. It's so much damage coming out from Hatong. And then Vasily just shows up fortuitously to pick up the last kill.
Yep, the triple there for Lissandra. I think a double there for Vasily. So the carries there for Vici, getting all of the kills that they need here. Not that they really needed them at this point. That was one hell of a steal. And the gold lead has shot up miraculously for Vici. 7,000 gold ahead now after that Baron.
And I was going to mention that in the previous series, and actually quite a recurring trend, has been the team behind picking up the Baron, delaying the game. When a team's ahead and they pick up a Baron, the amount of pushing power is just crazy. And we're going to see that very soon here when we see Vasily and the rest of the team grouping up.
And if one team really capitalizes on a Baron buff, it's Vici. They love to strangle you off the map, starve you of resources. And we'll see what Vici get done here. They're going to be able to close the game with this Baron buff. They're going to get pretty close, you have to think here.
Absolutely. They'll definitely be working on that. They'll probably back off to the Baron eventually. But Sky's going in.
He's ported in. Lamb's down there as well. Maybe you have to get him out. Lissandra Ultimate's going there. Good double play. Woosh there trying to find a kill, but can't quite get there. And now MLXG is going to dive in. Dandy flash ultis there onto Corky, but he will get out towards his tier 2. MLXG going to dive in. Assassin in towards the back now as well, looking for Dandy, but Mata's there for the knock up the fish. Does actually land onto Dandy, so they will get the kill. The zombies has been completed. Playful Trickster out there, but Assassin probably going to die and does go down to Trist. And that was a very weird teleport.
It was a very weird, aggressive teleport from a DPS-focused Sky right here. Not super tanky as Prince Jarvan IV. He could not buy much time at all. A 3-for-2 trade is not what they're looking for here. It's not going to stop the push whatsoever because Vasily's alive.
Vasily is doing all of the damage right now. Probably has the rapid fire maxed and ready to go. Mata helping out with the shields there as well. MLXG might chase in, does get the slow onto Carry, but he's actually mega null for him right now. Doesn't have his ulti, but Vasily going to dive over there. They fancy the fight. A great wall up there from Carry. He's going to secure the kill there for Vasily. He's going to jump in again, going straight in onto it. Mata with a great ulti to reset the 3v3, and Vici take another free kill.
Mata's monsoon there was massive. It looked like the third time this series even that Vasily was going to make an overly aggressive rocket jump, but he's been practicing that defensive targets with all the practice with Imp, putting it to good practice here with Vasily, helping that carry go through. They keep calling the bluffs here, do Vici right here. The first bluff happened in the top lane where they tried to rush down the Baron. That clearly didn't work and they paid for it. The second bluff happened just there when they tried to go in with the teleport. Again, that didn't work. And finally, they still tried to aggress. This is a 3-item Tristana. Tabiome to the gold, sitting on at least a BF sword's worth of gold to put on top of that. I don't know what King are trying to do. They're trying to make things happen. They're trying to make aggressive rotations, but they're getting found out every time by Vici.
I mean, credit to King for being assertive, especially in that last spot when they were clearly behind, but I don't think they needed to put themselves in this spot, and that might be the big misplay there. We'll see, though. Vici pick up a dragon for themselves. That is 2 and counting. Only 2 dragons actually isn't that many, but Vici don't need a whole lot more with a massive Tristana to back them up.
On a simple level, you can see why they made the engage they do. They knew that Mata and Vasily were split away from the fight. Then they thought, all right, we have 4 to 5 members in position. We can pick up a few kills before they can group right there. But they're just ignoring the fact that there's wonderful vision down from Vici, and they're just being caught in these rotations every time. And King was so praised for their early game rotations. Their late game rotations were never something they were sport highly of, and it's on display right here.
Hatong not going to get the blue. Interestingly, Dandy will instead just counter jungle it away. Carry looking kind of big there. I think there's an elixir of iron ticking away in mini form. We're going to clear out some of these waves as well. Level 16 now for that now. Tristana powering up level 15 there for Vasily. And everything going right here for Vici. Well and truly 10,000 gold ahead. 7-3 in turrets, 20-13 to kills. It's time for Vici to close out the 2-0 and collect their very well-earned 3 points.
Absolutely. They've certainly set themselves up for it right here. There's some excellent damage items down King's lineup as well. I mean, look at this Corki. He's absolutely massive. Probably the most expensive, realistic 3-item build you could go for here with the Trinity Force, Infinity Edge, and Last Whisper. But he's not going to be able to get through Dandy and Carry right here. He's got the Frozen Heart finished on Dandy, the Randomins, Banshees, extra health coming out from the Gnar right here. It's not realistic for Corki to do any tank bustering this game.
Yeah, what a hater from Dandy, accentuating the absolute zero with his Frozen Heart as well. Plus he has a locket. Dandy has just gone full utility on this Nunu, full vision control, getting the support items in as well. It's great to see Nunu really make a big comeback, and it is, to me, just such a Dandy champion.
And I believe between the Frozen Heart aura, the Snowball, and the ultimate, that's a lot of attack speed so coming down for this Corki. He will not be able to do a huge amount of damage in this team fight. And he's just a real tanky beast standing in the front line, gleefully eating whatever damage or skill shots King want to put out.
Vici going to move in for this naked inhibitor here down towards the bottom. King, if you have a last stand to make, it might be time to, but Vici just looks so strong at this point in the game. They're going to dance around here. Carry will build up his rage on Gnar as well. And either they'll pull the trigger or they're going to lose an inhibitor again.
All right, so they're going to go in for the inhibitor right here. They're really choosing this engage carefully because they're worried about Vasily getting exploded at the start of the fight.
And LXG does dance in, actually eats a snowball well and truly on the way out, riding the safeguard out as well. Lamb did pop the lantern now for him, so no other good options there for disengage here. Carry just going to bundle forward there on Mega Gnar form now and just zone everybody. He gets great. I don't think he cares at all here. And Carry wanted to flip someone into the inhibitor debris, but doesn't go there. Oh my god, that was an amazing 3-man. Not Matza flashing in there as well. Monsoon just scatters everyone to the wind, and now Sky going to dive in onto her tongue, but Lysandra happy to fight Dandy, ulting off towards the side. Assassin's going to get clipped there and killed by Vasily. Sky going to look to go down here as well. So Vasily's diving forward aggressively on Triss. Dandy moving forward. That goes under the turrets for MLXG. That will clean out the last kill, you have to think here, and the second game here for Vici.
Very clear we see the reason why we don't see too many of these DPS Javans in the front line. The King front line just exploded this game. So while it helped with the laning, Sky couldn't have anywhere near the same impact of Carry and Danny in that fight. And my goodness, words almost defy that Flash Gnar we saw. A 3-man Flash Gnar onto that dead inhibitor right there. Lovely play coming out from Carry.
And maybe the strongest performance from Vici so far in the LPL. We had so many questions with so many big names on this team. They struggled in the early stages. They didn't have nearly as much fun, although they picked up some more wins last week. But that series right there, that is the Vici people wanted to see.
And look, we've said that when we saw the last 2-0 win for them, we thought that was going to be the start of their momentum. And it was quickly halted with some equal displays, with some weaker displays. But they were definitely on today, and it was a very impressive display from them.
Yeah, Vici break the 1-1 curse there as well. So they're going to pick up the full 3 points for their trouble, and they could not be happier.
Absolutely.
We'll have to see. I think we have a replay coming up now as well, so we are going to get into that here. Vici going to look to see what they can do here.
Okay, so it's quite a close game at this one. Only 600 gold is the advantage for Vici. We'll roll the tape right here. They were trying to come and contest this blue buff, which Lame did at level 1, you'll remember. So they try it again right here. The Gnar onto Lame and MXD is massive right here. They get the first kill, but Vasily goes far too aggressive right here. He's exposed at the start of the fight, and it looks like King are going to be able to come back here. But there's just no front line. Sky can't really do anything at this point. But the re-engage right there, the flag and drag actually does a lot of work right here. And Wushin's able to keep DPSing down. This was the potential of the mid-game Corki. He already had a Trinity Force very early in the game. And we thought, all right, if King are going to be able to take this and snowball it throughout the game, they might actually have a series win. I love the troll right there from LXG, baiting Carry into stopping his movement right there and actually successfully hitting the Q. But unfortunately, it was a once-off. It was only one little engagement win there for King, because as the game dragged on, the power of Carry really came through, and that was a win for Vici.
Yeah, and crucially, the full 3 points there as well picked up. They're going to be very happy to hop a little bit further up in the standings moving into the next week as well. Of course, that was the last series of here, so looking good so far, but we are going to be back with more LPL coverage, guys. Don't go anywhere.